Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch some anime, and then we come back here and we talk about it, discuss it, all the things we like, all the things we didn't, all the things that are confusing us. And this week we are going to be talking about the PUELLA MAGI MADOKA MAGICA episode 5 through 8. If you are not caught up, go catch up and then come back and watch this on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. But um, we're talking about episode 5 through 8, and I did not watch this alone. I will not be discussing this alone because my co-host has not seen the show before. I've seen this before a long time ago. This is one of my first animes that I've ever watched. And Matt Galley, this is the first time watching for Matt. How are you doing? And how was this batch of episodes?
I'm sad.
I am sad as well. I was
I
texting
have been
somebody.
crushed.
Yes, I was texting somebody yesterday and I was like, maybe this is why I'm sad. Maybe this is why I've been sad for a little bit because I'm like, oh yeah, we're watching this anime.
Yeah, this is I mean, it's good. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but like it's yeah, it's pretty sad. Like,
But in a good way. And
in
if
a
you
in a way
are,
that's compelling.
yes, in a compelling way. I hope so. I really hope so because we have been watching anime for a little while now. We are on episode like 23 or something of the show, and we've gone through quite a few anime. And this is how we ranked them. We have a ranking system that we rank an anime. And next week, we're already going to be finished with Madoka Magica. And we are going to be ranking it on this scale. We have a couple of anime there, and on the left is me, on the right is Matt, and yeah, we're going to be giving our final thoughts. And if you would like to suggest an anime, watch the show live on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman on Thursdays, and you can submit an anime. I still need to add one more anime to this list because it was submitted last week, but it'll be
It's in
there
the
by
chest though. It's already in the chest.
chest. Yeah, it's already in the chest, so it'll be there on this list by next week. When we actually have to pick. But some of these are user submitted, some of these are put in by me and Matt. I think, did I put this one in? I think I put this one in. So I think you
Yes,
get to put one in
that's
as
right.
well. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Sneak
So
one in there.
Matt gets to add an anime to the chest before next week. Hopefully it'll be a
Attack
good
on
one.
Titan.
Oh no.
I would not the first 12 episodes. No, no, no.
Oh yeah, that would be an F for sure.
Yeah.
We got some things to talk about.
Mhm.
Madoka Magica, magical girls and things. Let's just get started because I'm really curious to know your thoughts. I'm curious to know what you're thinking, what's going on, and your predictions. So, episode 5, there's no way I'll ever regret it. Give us a little recap of what happened in this episode.
This episode sees Sayuka expressing her non-regret over becoming a magical girl, while at the same time Madoka becomes deeply worried about her and about everything that's going on regarding that. uh, Madoka goes out on witch hunts with Sayuka, and they both encounter Kyoko for the first time. Kyoko revealing herself, attempting to duel Sayuka, and kind of mopping the floor with her until the fight's finally broken up by Hamada when Kyoko is kind of going for her coup de grace right there.
Yeah.
She strikes the ground where Sayuka just was, and then Hamada appears.
So we find out that Sayaka did wish for Kyusuke Kamijo's arm to heal so he could play music again. We kind of knew that was going to happen, but they finally confirmed that that was her wish for that to happen. And because we also find out in this episode that, which was kind of like a throwaway line, a lot of this like important stuff is really interesting because now that I'm watching, I'm like, these are just like really goes by really fast. These are like really small details, but then I'm like, I remember, I'm like, do they really matter that much? But whatever. Sayaka heals twice as fast since she wished for another to be healed. So now we are from Cube, we're learning that miracles and things like that have different weights to it because and they have different
Properties.
effects.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole nother like jar
Layer.
of worms. was like, what does that mean? He didn't explain that. I like how Cube just constantly is like, oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah,
this
well,
this
in this set of episodes, there's a line with him where he's like, somebody, Saika, like asks him, well, why didn't you tell us? And he's like, well, you didn't ask.
he didn't read the terms and services and conditions.
Him though, his thing is like, you didn't ask. If you ask me, I'll tell you, but you didn't ask, so you must not care, right?
Yikes.
Right? Smiley face, little
Ugh.
stupid smiley face,
Yeah.
punchable face, Cube. Punch that,
God.
punch that guy.
I hate how he talks, but his mouth doesn't move.
He talks, the way he carries his like speech like pattern is very condescending at
Yeah.
all times.
and
Just
and
like,
it's
hey, come on, you, right? This is so not significant. It's just another day. Come on.
and it's funny because he's not of this world. So I
Yeah,
guess you can give it to him that he doesn't understand that, but we as humans, we understand that a lot when someone's talking to us like that. Um so yeah, we get some important facts there about Sayaka because she wished for this healing effect and then she can heal twice as fast. I thought it was interesting that he played Ave Maria by Bach as his first thing. He's not the greatest violinist, but whatever. He's had his arm broken for like ever, I guess, so it doesn't
his
really matter.
arm broken forever, right? And he
Yeah.
gets wheelchaired up to the top floor to play his little violin in front of all these people. And spoiler alert, in one of the following episodes, we see him like walking around at the school and he's talking about, oh yeah, like once my legs healed up enough, like I'll get off the crutches. This, it's just another way of the show, in my eyes, demonstrating the naivety of these little girls and their wishes, because why not just wish for him to be completely healed? Like, you just asked for his arm to be healed when he had
Yep.
like a broken leg too. He's still in a wheelchair,
Why
bro.
don't
You had a wish for anything. Oh my god.
or you know what a lot of people in the Crunchyroll comments were saying, why don't you wish for the power to heal instead so you can heal
Yeah,
multiple people instead of just the
there you
one?
go.
But it was very specific. Sayaka really just wanted that thing. And again, it makes sense because she is a middle school kid and she, they're playing off that these are just kids. They're given way too much. And I guess when you're thinking about it, like if you were a kid, you'd be like, I want this toy. I wish for 100 of these toys. Or it's like, when you could have, had this other thing where you can make toys and you can have a business and make a lot of money to buy more. You know what I mean? Like
Perspective.
you're really just thinking here, and she's
Perspective.
really doing that a lot of the time here because we see her go down a dark path in these 4 episodes. How did you like this fight? I know we don't have a lot of fighting. We don't have a lot of fighting because and I don't want I want to know your thoughts without me whatever, my influence or whatever. But I don't mind it. I'm like okay with the sparse fighting that we get
No,
because I
yeah.
love the story.
It's the, there's constantly something that the show's like throwing your way in terms of the dialogue. Going back to grab the screenshots, there are a lot of lines that I was like, oh, this connects to, an episode, an episode out, 2 episodes out, whatnot. um I like how it's more of a clash of ideals, as we see these three magical girls into these next couple episodes. Like, they each have like different ideals and just things that they care about that they want to work off of, but we can see how that kind of plays out in different ways between all three of them, because yeah, it's dark path that it goes down for these next 4 episodes for sure. But it's very entertaining, even though there's not a lot of fighting going on. The
Sure.
show kind of hypes itself up with all of the witch hunting, but then all of that kind of, we see what happens with mommy, and then like, just, it's like, okay, now we're here,
Yeah.
now we're at the show.
We are definitely getting here. We are at the show right now because yeah, you're right. It in the beginning last week, in the first couple episodes, it was disguised and thinly veiled as a magical girl show where you fight witches and we're all having a good time. And then it quickly does not, it quickly dissolves and shows you what it really is. Um, last week you said Hamada was your favorite.
Yeah,
And we see Hamada a whole lot in these four
whole
episodes,
lot.
especially
Yeah.
in this one. But how do you feel about Kyoko? Because we're getting some more info about Kyoko, especially in this one. We see her chomping food all the time. Always
She's
has
always
some,
eating,
always has a little
always munching.
snack. We got
Ah,
some of her
relatable.
backstory as well. But like her going up against Sayaka, how do you feel about that?
I mean, her going up against Sayaka, I mean, immediately I find myself disliking the character when she says things like, oh, you're supposed to let the familiars go around and, kill innocent people so they can get stronger. And that's how you get your grief seed. And initially, that's how I feel. But then, like, as these episodes play out, the more and more I think about it, it's like, well, how can I blame her for thinking that way, actually? Like, it's a realistic way for somebody with these terms and conditions that they have to live by to be acting, honestly. So I think she's written believably, even though she comes off very crass and
Sure.
like just like she's kind of only about herself. But we come to learn that there are reasons for her acting the way that she does that are
Hmm.
justified, in my opinion.
And with just a swift little hair flip, Hamada finishes the fight for them and goes into episode 6. So what happens in episode 6? This just can't be right. Also, the Hamada flip is so cool. I love how she just waits and then the
Oh,
hair
and
just
yeah,
fly.
the Hamada flip, and
She
also there
she
is
flips so
a
much.
with Kyoko, she does her scoff, her little almost exactly like Noelle does in Black Clover, and I had to look up the voice actresses to
Oh,
make sure that
uh-huh.
they weren't the same, and they weren't the same, but that little scoff just sounds identical. It
Oh,
kind of like I was like, whoa, episode
call
one,
back.
yeah, episode 6. We see Hamada grows more annoyed with Madoka not taking heed to her advice, borderline threatening her. Um, Hamada goes on to meet with Kyoko and make a deal with Kyoko on the side, as there's some looming threat that I'm gonna not even try to pronounce. That's supposed to be on the way in like a week or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, that one.
Walpurgisnacht.
Thanks.
Nacht.
Monica gets advice from her mom before meeting up with Sayaka and tossing her soul gem off a bridge in order to stop her from fighting Hamada and Kyoko. However, this has big impacts as as Sayaka immediately goes, silent, falls to the ground, and Kyoko remarks, she's dead. Kyubei reveals the actual functions of the soul gem, essentially revealing that once you become a magical girl, he takes your soul, puts it in the gem, and your body just becomes a thing that your soul is controlling, like Bluetooth style, from this little egg, which is actually you, and you are no longer present in your body.
So this is a big thing. This is a big thing
Thank
to
you,
them,
Smudge.
and I want to draw. Yeah. I definitely looked it up,
I
Smudge,
didn't.
for sure. I was gonna throw down some facts here. Thank you, Smudge. Yes. Walpurgisnacht is the thing that is coming in 2 weeks, apparently. So get your clocks right. But before we get into the whole soul gem thingy, um this is what my German minor allows me to do. Finally, it's paying off. Yes, for anime. For anime. Did you mention that Cube eats the grief seed?
Oh, there's a screenshot
'Cause
of it in there, but yeah, he
that's a,
eats the grief seed earlier. He eats a grief seed earlier in this episode, which, I mean, spoiler alert for later on, but
sure.
I'm 90% sure that that let's move on.
Anyways,
Let's
yeah.
move on. I'm sorry. Let's get to predictions later.
Kyubey eats grief seed and says Kyoko has extra grief seeds reserved so she can waste magic on each fight. So that was kind of like an info dump there that
Yeah.
Kyoko has the reason that she can like keep going like crazy and fighting like crazy is because she just has a bunch of grief seeds, and then she's just like taking all the impurity out of her soul stone. Or what is it called? Is it called a
Soul gem.
soul gem? But Kyubey eats the grief seed.
Yes.
And that's just like, wait, hold on, wait, what?
Again,
What's going on?
throwaway moment, like in the moment.
And it's like, wait, what are you doing here? So like we were talking about 2 weeks from now, Hamada comes and says that while Purgisnacht will descend onto the city. And I wrote down the meaning because I was like, I didn't do that when I first watched the episode, or when I first watched the show a long time ago.
Throw out a name like that. I'm just thinking it's some Elden Ring boss, bro.
I instantly went to German. I instantly went to like, that has to be German. Like, what's that's so weird. It means it's the eve of May Day on which witches are held to ride at an appointed rendezvous. Night of the Witches is a pagan festival celebrated each year on 30th of April. The tradition involves lighting bonfires and singing traditional Celtic folk songs to mark the arrival of spring. So yeah, it's like a real thing in Germany, and it's coming up actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you say the 30th of April?
Yeah, the 30th of April. Wait, is it happening in 2 weeks?
It's like 2.5 weeks.
Oh no. It will descend upon our
I don't even
cities.
know. Soon.
So
soon.
Yeah, so this is actually like a real thing, which is kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's dope. I just looked it up and I was like, okay. So Madoka gets some advice from her mom, and I think it's the cutest thing. I
love
really
the
enjoyed
sides
this
with Madoka and her mom, but yeah, she gives some advice that seems very, it seems to be like it's trying to say something with what's going on currently in the show, and that just because like, somebody does nice things, it doesn't mean that they're promised a happy ending. And that's like, she prefaces that by saying, it's sad to say, but it's the reality.
She also says to make mistakes for Sayaka, to make mistakes for your friend when you don't think, what was it?
Make mistakes while you're young, when your wounds can heal fast.
Learn to mess up.
Learn to mess up.
Make it sooner rather than later. And I think this is just good.
Because the later on you wait to make certain mistakes, the more repercussions that come because of all the responsibilities you shoulder by making said mistakes.
Mm-hmm. It's just good advice overall, like in general. I was just like, oh,
not Sayaka. Madoka is shown to just be the most like realistic character because she for everything going on in this show, she is the most like grounded thing to me because she observes and takes in like everything that's like happening around her, asks questions to herself, and then asks advice from others, and then comes to her own conclusions afterwards.
Damn, I wish I could do that. Madoka is everything I want to be. I want to be a magical girl. Madoka's mom also says, which was really funny, I thought, she said, oh, us adults are always in pain. That's why we're allowed to drink alcohol. And I was like, hey, because she was just there drinking like late at night. It was great. I love the relationship. That's probably my favorite relationship right now, Madoka and her mom.
Yeah,
they're super
definitely
cute. So we come back to what's his name, Kamijo Kyosuke's, and he's playing the song that he loves. I thought that whenever Sayaka comes to like come check up on him and she finds him like playing music, he's playing The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. I was like, oh, they did the thing. That's his favorite song, he said, which was really cute. I thought that was pretty dope. And let's get into the what makes a magical girl. And the whole thing that Kyubey talked about, because this is probably a big revelation for them.
Oh yeah,
but for me, I don't know if I mind it, and I want to know your thoughts. So for a magical girl, the soul is placed into the soul gem, and your body is a shell. That's what Kyubey is basically saying, that you are nothing without your soul gem. And Kyubey's whole thing is that why are you humans getting mad? Because this makes it so much easier to fight. This makes
Hmm.
it so much easier to do
To
your
fight witches.
job,
Yeah.
to fight witches, because you can keep track of it. It's here in your hand, and whenever you get hurt, you don't feel it as much, and you
Yep.
don't feel.
You can just use
So
magic to fix it or whatever.
yeah, fix your
Which,
show.
okay, immediately, immediately my thought goes to, then how did, like, is decapitation on the plate or something?
That's immediately on your mind.
How did mommy die then? Did her soul? I didn't see her soul gem get crushed. I
You
saw
saw
her
her
head.
head.
I saw her head get bitten off, and it looked. And then her powers immediately stopped working. So I'm just saying that's like that. Unless something comes along later that demonstrates why this isn't a plot hole, that's a plot hole to me. That just immediately like rang in my head. Like, you're sitting here
Okay.
telling me like this is making them invulnerable and immune to taking damage, but I saw somebody get one shot.
I think if your head gets chopped
But
off,
it's not your head. Your soul exists in a gem. It's not your body. It's just a shell. It's just a autonomous
sure,
thing.
because if a robot's head got taken out, then it would still be able to go
And he talks
because
about how
it's
if you get
just a
impaled
limb.
by a spear, like it could just heal up. So it's like, okay, well, what if like I got impaled in my trachea, or like impaled through like the front center of my head? Like,
I don't know.
where are the limits? Where are the limits, Cube?
I don't know. You didn't ask. Oh, we'll
You're
figure
right.
it out.
You're right. You're right. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So,
Fucking hate him so much.
yeah, I don't. I'm cool with it. If I did this whole miracle, I would. Okay, first off, I would have chosen a great miracle. I would have chosen for them to be there to be no more witches or something like that. I don't know, something grand like that. And then I would I'd be fine with having a little soul gem. I don't know. I don't see how bad this is, but everybody in this show is taking because it makes them less human in their eyes. Sayaka sees her body as tainted.
Yeah.
She sees her not as good enough for um her boy Kyosuke.
The way he puts it too, it's like, so does that, the way he puts it too draws into the question, so do they not age then? So Hamada, is
How
Hamada
old?
like just some person that's been a magical girl for like maybe hundreds, thousands of years? How long do we know? Like, it's drawing all these questions in with just
Yeah,
all these little reveals. Like, all these questions come along the way as well.
I love it. We're talking about Monica Magica if you're just joining us, but do you see this as bad? Like, I don't mind. I'm okay. I mean, I'm not on Cube's side because Cube's kind of shady, but
Mhm.
like the way he's saying it all makes sense.
It
I
makes sense in the context of fighting the witches and stuff, but yeah, it's just, I mean, it gets back into the themes of like what it means to be a human. Where does like humanity start and end? You know, I'm already
because
forgetting names, but Dimension W is just asking that question about androids. So in this instance, if you pull the soul out of something and say it's just a husk, like,
but they didn't know. They didn't even know. Sayaka and nobody even knew. Like we saw Kyoko even being like, "Wait, what? That I didn't know that." They didn't even know their body was any different. Nobody
what
knew it was
about
different.
what about an artificial intelligence that gets brought to life under the impression that it's a human being that's lived a whole life? It has a bunch of memories implanted into it, and it thinks it's a human. Is that any less human than Sayuka in that state and condition?
Well, Sayaka is an anime character, so no, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. It's so weird.
it
But
is.
in this instance, and if
It
Kyubey told me
yeah.
that,
In the
I'd be
instance of
like,
fighting the witches, yeah, it makes it like safer for me, and like I get to see it, and when I need to clean it because it's like getting foggy and stuff. But I mean, last episode I already said if I see Cube and he's around here trying to make me a deal, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, guy. I don't. What are you talking about? Get out of here. I'm like shooing him away. little face.
His stupid little face.
Face.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
it's
okay with
like
it. Fuck it. I
100
want
meters.
cool abilities. Oh yeah, because we saw it go. Well, it
She
got
throws it off a bridge and it
and goes
lands on a
onto a car.
truck that
Yeah,
just
truck.
like takes it, it's probably going 80 an hour. So
Goes off
freaking
really
moments
fast.
later it's 100 meters away and she's just like limp on the ground and
They
it's just
usually
like,
have their soul gem in a ring, right? Like
yes.
that's they all turn it into a ring. I'd be like,
Cube says that this is the most isolated incident. This never happens. This absolutely never
The
happens.
most interesting thing, though, for sure, that's being developed on the side is that Hamada is a magical girl, but Cube wasn't the one to give her abilities.
Yes.
Because
That's again, yeah.
Cube on the side is being like, wait, how do you know this? Whatever, and we're gonna talk more about it in the coming 2 episodes right now. But he's like, where'd you get your power? Like, who are you? Like, what's going on? And we're seeing the increased noticeable tense moments between Cube and Hamada because she has powers and Cube wasn't the one, and
And
Cube
Cube
doesn't
tries
even know
telling
his her
something to
powers.
Madoka along the lines of, well, whatever she's doing, she's obviously up to something. It's like, Cube, you're up to something. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it's so good. And like you
Pointing
said last
fingers.
time, he just continues to instigate a
Yeah.
lot, instigating a lot. And now I'm noticing it more since you said it. I was like, oh yeah, he is just kind of in everybody's ear, just being like, yo, what's going on over
Exactly.
there?
He just wants to see the drama.
And then ultimately he's like, yo, Monica, you better turn into a magical girl right
You
now.
better do
I don't know.
and
This
then
is getting
over here he's like, yeah, just toss me that grief seed. I'm nom 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 nom. Yeah, don't even worry about what's going on. Like it's all good. We're all good. Just keep getting those grief seeds. I
episode 7.
punch that
Can
guy
you
in the face.
face your true feelings? What happens? Give us a little rundown about what happens in episode 7.
The episode at the start, at the top, we see Cube giving Sayaka a breakdown of like the human soul and what's going on with the soul gems. The episode goes on to have Kyoko revealing her past to Sayaka as well. Hitomi tells Sayaka that if she doesn't confess her feelings to Kamijo, then Hitomi will, because Hitomi also apparently has strong feelings or love for
Sure.
Kamijo. This sends Sayaka off the rails, having her think things like, if only I hadn't saved Hitomi.
Ugh.
Yeah, at the top of the episode, Cube explains how because of the condition of their soul, if they can just mentally disconnect while they're fighting, then they will literally not feel pain. And then Sayaka takes that and just completely runs with it as if to say, oh, then I can just throw myself into danger with reckless abandon.
Yeah. Let's do
Finally,
it. But then not pick up any grief seeds.
but then
She's
not just start giving away the grief seeds actually to
yeah, she just
everybody
started fighting.
else for some reason. I
Um
don't get that.
oh boy. Well, she's fighting familiars. She's fighting familiars, and
Mostly.
Hamada was like, "Yo, you got to start getting some grief seeds because this is getting kind of dark. Like your soul, whatever, is getting kind of dark. You got to do
Yeah.
something about it." Um, the big the big thing from the beginning of this, while he's like, Cube sort of explaining what's going on and what happens. Cube is talking to Sayaka, and he's again like he ate the grief seed last episode. It's like, okay, that's kind of weird. In this episode, he's like, yo, you don't know what true pain is like. This is true pain, and I've protected you. Let me show you how I made you better, because this is what you would feel when you would get impaled. So he inflicts pain onto Sayaka, and she's just like, and I'm like, huh? What are you doing? You could do that? First off, we find out that he can do that. Two, we find out that he's just void of emotion. I mean, we know he's not of this planet. They talked about it, but he just doesn't get it. He doesn't
Yeah.
understand. And he's probably like some omniscient being, something that's hundreds of years old. So our lives don't matter. But like, to us right now, like we've seen that before, where it's like these big grand scale characters don't understand or don't care for it because it's so tiny to them. Like it's a
The
second.
way Hamada puts it is he's a life form that can't comprehend human values.
Yeah.
And that's where the crux of the whole, oh my god, you took my soul out of my body. Like, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, this I did it so that way this doesn't happen. And she's
And she's like, ah, this
literally
hurts.
incapacitated in a moment. Do you think it's just Hubei that can like do that, or do you think it's like him like just putting pressure on it? Like if I were to go up to it and like put my
Oh,
stand on it with my foot, something like that would happen where she would feel it. Or do you think
I
it's
don't
just
know.
Hubei?
Well, I've seen the show. I can't say anything.
Okay.
What do you
What do
think?
you think?
Yeah.
I thought it was just anything could do the damage to that until you said that it was him specifically, and then I was like, wait, actually, yeah, because he was just like lightly resting his finger on it. It's
And
not
she was
like he
like
was
on the
doing anything.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get this whole backstory of Kyoko about where she's coming from, what happened with her, her wish, how that ended out for her. Kyoko wished for people to listen to her dad about his new religion. Then he found out that she was magic, and the reason why people were listening to him was not because they wanted to willingly, it was because his daughter made them, sort of, with her wish. And
False
then
faith.
yeah, he just and then killed everybody,
Whole family.
killed his whole family and killed himself and all that stuff. So
Do, 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 do,
yay,
do.
Kyoko is the only one alive out of her whole family. What do you think about this? Does it make sense? Is it believable that that's why she's such a loner? And like, this is such a huge, like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
I mean, it kind of comes out of nowhere for sure. But again, it's like, it's a quick way of making me understand why she is so crass in the ways that she is. Um, one thing that it does, like, again, these mini reveals that can just draw more questions. So the mini reveal earlier, oh, Saika heals quickly because she wished for somebody to be healed. So if Kyoko wished for somebody else to be influential, what did that do to her?
I don't
Silly
know.
question.
Made
Super
her
silly
hungry all
question.
the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, like how do you like we need a breakdown of all the different types of wishes you can have and their effects.
But the show only has 12
Yeah,
episodes.
it's already almost over. We're already almost done. They're
Yeah.
not going to give you
That's
everything.
something that you get out of like Hunter x Hunter or like Naruto, Black Clover, Demon Slayer, where they will take an episode, an arc, just to demonstrate how the power system balances are
You
like
mean 60
working.
episodes?
It's the whole show, actually. This is what the show's about. It's the power system. But yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole
Um
arc in Hunter x Hunter. Oh, about the fucking
about
the
Nin.
fucking shit. Yeah, the fucking nin. Um
Yeah.
I do like Kyoko. I understand. I get it. It makes sense. Um and I love how she's well, I don't love it, but I love that there's a character this way that she's just emotionally shut off. Like you can tell already she's gone through her worst shit and it's like
Well,
here we are.
this is I feel like somebody who it's almost like the foil to Sayuka to a certain degree. In the case of Sayuka, somebody who used their wish for somebody else and it didn't work out, but she's like fallen into like self-pity and stuff. But Kyoko is somebody who same thing happened, used their wish for somebody else, but instead of falling into like self-pity and wallowing in it, she's like, well, this is still like because of the wish, because of becoming a magical girl, I can still live the best life I ever could have.
Mhm.
Um, there's a line that she says about like I get to eat all the food I ever want now, which makes me think that like maybe that she lived in poverty before,
Oh yeah,
where
that's what she
food,
said
yeah.
that before that, before the wish, they barely had any food.
Oh,
That's
I
why she's eating a bunch. That before, her dad wasn't doing so great, nobody wanted to, see him, whatever, that they barely had any food to eat. and then now she wished for that, and then they have a lot of money, they have a lot of food and all that stuff.
So yeah, she's like, this is still like me. This is still my life that I can still live, and there are things that I can enjoy, like being able to eat food whenever I want, however much I want.
Shubs,
Um,
thank you for the 29 months. I appreciate it. Thank you,
woo,
thank you, thank you.
so hype.
Appreciate it. It didn't come up because we're doing the podcast, but thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'll give you your alert tomorrow or something whenever I go live next.
But yeah,
Hi.
it's like it makes it really, yeah, I'd say like believable in terms of her character and the way that she's been acting up to now. And it also kind of makes sense as to why she would kind of try to start to open up to Sayuka, because like, hey, look, I made it. I made a mistake too. Like I fucked up, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck like this, but you can make the best out of it. And Sayuka's just like, no, I'm still going to be selfless and go and wallow in my self pity about how nobody cares about what I'm doing and what I'm sacrificing for everybody else.
But then Hamada's like, why are you being dumb? What are
Yeah,
you doing,
that's
man?
Hamada. It's just like, why are you? Yeah,
Stop.
stop. But Hamada is more like, what you're doing is causing Madoka grief,
Yeah.
and if you're gonna be doing that, I'm gonna remove you out of the equation right now.
if
And it's until Kyoko comes and saves Sayuka from Hamada in that moment, where now the tables have turned.
Sure, if Hamada was a little bit more sincere about actually caring about Sayaka, I think it would have worked. But her ideation
Her
for
approach,
Madoka for
yeah.
some reason is intriguing, because she just doesn't want Sayaka to hurt Madoka, because Madoka is friends with Sayaka. They're also friends with Hitomi, and Hitomi comes back. I think it was last episode. No, it was this episode where she confronts Sayaka, and we've already said in like a passing glance as well. I or no, it was in this episode too. I'm getting all the episodes mixed up, but
Same. This is, yeah,
Kyoko
sidecar.
says it doesn't go well if you try to help people.
Mhm.
Like the universe has to balance itself. Because of what her dad went through, and like how it ended and all that stuff. You got all this good, but then all this bad had to happen. And that's kind of how I feel too in real life. But like she helps the boy that she loves, Kyosuke, get his musical ability back, get his body back, and in turn, the universe sends Hitomi, who says, actually, I'm in love with this boy. I haven't been over and seeing him in the hospital or anything, but I just want to tell you, since you grew up with him, since you were best friends since you were little, I just want to give you a heads up. I love this boy, and I'm going to tell him tomorrow. And I'm giving you till tomorrow that if you have feelings for him, say it. I feel like it could have gone worse. I feel like it could have gone worse. She gave Sayaka a day,
Yeah,
right? I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's
But
cool.
Sayaka's in this place of, she just got revealed to her that, hey, you're not you anymore. You're in this capsule.
So yeah, like what I was saying earlier, that she doesn't want to talk to him anymore, doesn't want to see him, because she came to the realization that she's not herself.
Mhm.
She's not human anymore, even though he tells you, but she finds out that she's this soul gem. And it's like, what? Um I don't know. He told me, okay. He told me was fine. Like, as far as like the universe evening itself out,
Mhm.
I think Hitomi could have been way worse,
Oh, yeah.
but Sayaka was just in the wrong frame of mind.
Like I said, like there's the shot out of episode 4, I think, where Kyosuke is lying in the bed and he's like looking up at his hand, and it just like is kind of like it's kind of a haunting shot of like how his face is like dimly like lit against the shadow and stuff. And I thought that something was going to happen with that, regarding him getting power of his hand back, use of his hand back. But no, yeah, it just didn't seem to do anything with that, which is like, and then it drops this in here, which this is the balance. I thought the balance was going to be something with him, but it's something more outside of the two of them, which threw
Gotcha.
me like that definitely threw me for a loop. I was like, "Whoa, that came out of no
Yeah.
you haven't even been seeing him in the hospital like you said. Like where
But
did this come from?"
I noticed the way that Hitomi talks when she's saying this. And I don't know if it's just me, the placebo effect, like me wanting this to be, but I feel like she's not saying it with conviction whenever she's talking to. I might have to rewatch it again. It could just be me,
Well,
my
because
feelings put onto that. That this is the universe making it happen instead of her actual true feelings when
sure.
she's telling Sayaka, and I'm like, this sounds a little robotic. I don't know if this was intentional. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, this is interesting.
In my head, it's a lack of conviction because she's talking about confessing her love,
Okay,
and they're in middle school.
yeah.
Like they should it's
Man, I was in love
realistic.
like 20
That's what I mean.
times, and
Listen, that's what I mean. Like I was in middle school too. Like so I like but we grow, we learn, and that's
sure.
something that like even there's a line with Monica's mom at a table side scene where she's like, yeah, you're gonna grow, you're gonna learn, and even through your childhood alone, like you're pretty well rounded, you've grown up very well. uh Obviously not all of these girls are very emotionally well rounded.
Cut to Sayaka.
Cut to
Um,
Sayaka thinking about the fact that she
she should have
only
not
if
saved
only I
Hitomi.
hadn't saved her.
Oh my god. If only I hadn't saved her, she wouldn't confess her love to the boy that I love, which is insane. So Sayaka detaches herself and she feels nothing, endures pain against a witch. And then we go into episode 8. Episode 8, I was stupid, so stupid, and this is probably the wildest one of the 4.
Yeah, this is
So what
definitely like, yeah,
happens
an episode.
in episode 8? I was stupid, so
Um
stupid.
Episode 8 sees Sayaka this no not a single thought behind those eyes. Episode 8 sees Sayaka attempting to guilt trip Madoka into becoming a magical girl. Sayaka also sees Hitomi confessing to Kamijo and kind of goes hysterical. She gets sent into a spiral and goes hysterical where she attacks a bunch of familiars with reckless abandon using all of her magical powers until uh, she's told that her soul gem must be at the limit. She's offered a helping hand, but still refuses, and this causes her soul gem to begin to erupt with grief.
I was stupid, so stupid.
Leo Point. She said the thing.
She said the thing. She said the episode title. Um, Sayaka goes mental, lashing out at Madoka, and she's numb to the pain. All because her soul is gone. Um,
She even remarks like, "Why would I say stuff like that to Madoka?" But like, she's just too far gone in her own like grief.
and it kind of shows how like I don't know how I can just compile things can compile like putting it into our perspective like sometimes it's just one thing and it just changes your whole mindset and it's just like
And then it's just hard
every
to recover, which begets another until you haven't realized the whole hole that you've dug out for yourself already.
yeah and you're mean to your friends, you're mean to people that you like, and you're like why am I like this, what am I doing? And it's such an interesting look um at like I don't know at all this stuff at what at the brain at like what what you're thinking about and how you affect others and how you can affect others. um it's just really wild in a magical girl show in a Maho shoujo. Psycho goes crazy on some dudes on the train. To be honest, they deserved it.
Oh yeah, I
To be
mean
honest,
they're out of pocket for sure.
these guys deserved it. She turns all fuzzy for some reason. I don't know. But
It's the
she was
grief consuming her.
she was even like is this world even worth saving? Like, what am I
Yeah,
doing? Like, I have the job to save people, but are these people even worth saving?
people like this.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, but like sometimes people are shitty. I don't know. I don't know. Um, and we have some talks with Madoka because Kyubey once again back on his bullshit, trying to get Madoka to turn back
You know,
and
you could
saying,
wish to be a god.
yeah, he literally says, Madoka, you could be the god of this world, and the miracle that you unleash could change the fabric of the universe. What does that even mean? What miracle? So, like, again, we have rankings of miracles that you can ask for. And apparently hers could be the biggest one ever.
When he says that to me, I believe it's just the potential of what she could wish for versus the potential of what other people could wish for. Whereas maybe there's some sort of sixth sense that he has where he can tell how compelled people are to act out for others, and maybe Madoka is the one that would do the most absolute selfless act out of anybody on the planet or something like that.
Okay.
That's where, when he's saying things like, when everybody's like the potential of Madoka, the potential of Madoka, when they keep saying that, that's what it means to me in my head, because that's what
Gotcha.
the show's kind of demonstrated up to this point. Is anytime she talks about wanting to make a wish, it's always for somebody else. Even though Sayaka wished for somebody else, ultimately it was for herself, because she wanted, by proxy, him to be hers because
Yeah.
of what she was doing for him, even if
But
she doesn't
Madoka
buy into
just,
that.
yeah, Madoka is just clearly lawful good for
Yeah,
all the way. Like, I
exactly.
just want it to be
Where
good
Sayaka is more
because,
like a neutral, good, chaotic, neutral.
yeah, because she just wants it just because. There's no motive behind it. Um, she still hasn't turned into a magical girl. We're more than halfway
Yeah,
through.
that's what I mean. At this
We're
point, I don't think it's gonna happen, actually. I wanna revisit
but
that
they have
prediction because I said episode, like, 11 or 12. No, it's not gonna happen.
her changing into a magical girl in the opening cut. No?
That's just to make me think they're just trying
She's
to get
never
me.
gonna turn into a magical girl. Okay.
I think I'd put money on that.
That Madoka by the end of this show, by
I put,
episode
like, 5
12,
bucks on it.
never never
I
turns into a magical girl. Okay.
I'd put my next submission down on it.
Oof. Oof. All right. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
But we also have a lot of confrontation between Hamada and Kyubey because they finally meet in a time where they can talk about stuff. And Hamada, but also the way Kyubey kind of talks to her is kind of really interesting because he just notices little like that she goes quiet and he's like, oh, that I was right or whatever. Hamada has time magic, apparently, according to QA. And he asks, oh, so you're not from this timeline? And he says, oh, I was right. She's not from this timeline? What do you think about that? What does that mean?
I mean, that's
Did you think
whenever
time was going to be a factor here
no.
in this late in the
I
game?
thought her blinking around was like teleportation, not
Sure.
time stop. Like the show totally had me bought on the fact that she was like blinking around and not that she was stopping time. I thought she was just fast as heck.
She's just speedy.
Yeah, little Sonic. But yeah, it's when shows get into like time paradox, timelines and stuff, my brain can't help but go,
Okay. But they haven't
I
yet.
don't
I
even
don't
know
even know if
what,
they're going to
like,
do that.
yeah, like they say that she's from a different timeline, but it's like, okay, what does that mean for us? Like, do these
Gotcha.
timelines exist at the same time? Because if that's the case, then it's just, what is she bringing over here that we don't already know? Do these timelines freaking exist on different paths and they were like going to collide and she's here to make sure that her timeline doesn't crash into ours? It doesn't set the stakes up for what her being from an alternate timeline could be
Yet.
impactful for
Sure.
yet. So
It was
I
just a
don't
little.
think, yeah, it's just a little, yeah. But for me right now, it doesn't mean much. Just me going, okay. Another note.
Hamada also calls Cube incubator, which
Yes.
is his true name. which was a word made for this show, which was really interesting. It's a form. It's an actual word that you can use for incubator in the language, I guess now, or something
Well,
like that.
isn't it? Well, an incubator is something that like you put an egg in for it to hatch faster. So yeah, if he's an
Yeah,
incubator,
like if you
then
knew, like, because I looked up Cube in the first episode. I didn't mention it because
oh, okay.
that would have given it up. But like Cube apparently means incubator.
Oh,
Like the word
gotcha,
meaning, I guess, means incubator.
gotcha.
So I was like, oh, not gonna talk about that. But Hamada calls Cube that. They have this confrontation. What do you think? What do you think? Since next week's episode is going to be the last time we talk about this, and that we're going to get the finale, we're going to get all the stuff. Hamada, Cube, they seem to be at odds.
Yeah.
Madoka still wants to help Sayaka. Where does
Whatever
this?
Cube's up to, he wants while what is it? While Val
I got it right here. Where does it go? Where'd it go?
Valpurgisnacht.
Valpurgisnacht. Yes.
Valpurgisnacht. Whatever's going on, Cube wants that to happen.
Okay.
He wants that to happen because, like, he tells them, "Hey, just so you know, Sayaka is kind of getting a little wild, and she's probably going to become a problem before Valpurgisnacht happens. So you better look out for that." And he's obviously not in cahoots with them at this point because, if anything, Kyoko's more on Hamada's side to stop this from happening, and Hamada and Cube are not in cahoots with each other, obviously. So there's like an enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation going on with Hamada and Kyoko, I feel like.
Sure.
Where they both now
Because
know Valpurgisnacht is like
coming.
coming and they need to stop it.
Because Hamada was like, you could take it on by yourself. She was like, I think she said, we'll get out of here, but just want to warn you, Kyoko, that if you want to take the city over, in 2 weeks, this is coming. And I may have to help you, but I think you got it. But just letting you know. And that was kind of what they had that conversation earlier. But Kyube's still doing stuff. So you think Kyube wants Valpurgisnacht to come and kill everybody? I mean, this is
I don't know
essentially what they
what
said.
Valpurgisnacht even means.
Hamada said it was a witch that, or like something was going to descend.
Yeah,
from
when
the sky.
when she says that, to me that means like a thing, like
Yeah.
a being. But when we say Valpurgisnacht, when we look it up, it means like the night of the witch, and it's like a holiday or
could just
something like that. That to
D-Day.
me that means that like the concept of it will descend and
Sure.
chaos will break loose.
The day
October 31st in Shibuya.
Sure. The day instead of a thing. Like Valpurgisnacht is a day because it's called
Yes.
Night of the Witches instead of like a witch will descend. So that's kind of what you're thinking?
That, I mean, in my mind now it could be either.
Okay.
At first it was one, now it's been made that it could be the other to me. So I'm thinking like which one is gonna happen? Is it gonna be the boss or is it about to be a raid, basically?
Ooh, okay. Cube says one thing at the end, and I want to know your thoughts because I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, but Cube says it's only appropriate to call people that are to turn into witches magical girls. He said, in this world, there's a girl in this world.
In this country,
yeah,
half-grown women are called girls, right? In that case, it's appropriate that you, who will one day grow into witches, should be called magical girls. That's what he leaves us with after episode 8, where afterwards Sayuka's soul gem becomes like overwhelmed with cloudiness, with grief. We see it break and it looks like a witch spawns. And then he says that line and I don't know what it means.
You want to take a guess?
I don't know what it means. Like,
what do you mean?
Like I can't make it make sense in my head. Like it's like when you read a sentence and then you realize like a couple of the words are like jumbled around. It feels like this is an ad lib that I'm like trying to sort out in my head because I read it and I'm like what does that mean? Like that girls are gonna grow up into witches, so we should call them magical girls? If so, that's just very like, why does he even need to say that? Like, I feel like he's trying to. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much because I'm thinking he's trying to get this super profound statement in there about something, but maybe it's just supposed to be surface level, and he's just witch spawns from a girl, and he's just like, oh, haha, witches spawn from girls. It's like, okay, cool, but I'm trying to make it more. I don't know.
Okay, I don't want to. I don't want to tell you. Never mind. Do you want me to
My
help you?
brain.
Do you want me to help you?
I don't want help. I
Are you
don't
sure?
need help. If you want to show me that you want to help me, put yourself through what I've been through and become a magical girl.
It's like right there, Matt. But it's fine.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. What does this look like, Matt? What does this look like? Doesn't this look like something? What's the
Spiral.
little fuzzy stuff? Some say he's still trying to become a magical girl to this day. Anyways, all right. Well, you can answer in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about magical girls, about witches, about anything. So we already got one prediction for the finale that Madoka will never turn into a magical girl. It's kicking off now. What happens to Sayaka? What happens to Hamada? What is the Valpurgis
What happens to Kyoko? She
Kyoko?
got sent flying when that witch spawned.
What happens? How does it end? I've already
Everybody
seen it once
lives
again.
happily ever after.
Everybody lives happily ever after. Nobody dies. Mommy was the only one.
There's too much on the table. Like if the show's a puzzle and every like little mini reveal is like a puzzle piece, there are too many pieces on the puzzle for me to even try to make a concept of what the picture is trying to be right now. It's just, which is good. Like I like that I can follow along with all of these pieces and be able to kind of like put together my own picture as it goes and stuff. The show's easy to watch and it's easy to follow. It's not difficult to understand what's going on, but there are just a lot of like interconnecting like beats that could be made.
I think it's probably one of the easier ones to follow that we've done. I mean, considering Dimension W and Psychopaths and all that stuff, it's just like kind of a lot. I like how slow paced this is, sort of comparatively to some of the other things we've already seen. And I like the characters.
It's a very simple concept that they have completely like thrown on its head and been able to make something new out of, like, it makes something completely new out of it.
Yep. Smudge says they go into space and turns out it's a mech anime the whole time. It could be. I don't know. They haven't seen the last 4 episodes. It might just be.
Maybe after they get into the basement that happens.
I've been JulesTheHuman. That's Matt. Next week, we are going to. I don't know if that was a Hunter x Hunter reference or if that was a Attack on Titan reference. I'm pretty sure that was an Attack on Titan reference. I just let that go. Matt, where can they find you when you're not being a magical girl?
When I'm not here, you can find me on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Matt_Galley or on any of my socials at it's Matt_Galley. Same one, just with that ITS MATT_GALLY. Jules, when you're not here, where can the people find you?
JulesTheHuman on Twitch. You can watch this show live on my Twitch every Thursday, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman. You can watch the show on my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. You can listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm JulesTheHuman on Twitter, all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Hopefully you're going on this magical girl journey with us. And next week, we're going to pick a new anime to watch. We're going to rate the anime. We're going to rate Madoka Magica on this list here. We're going to put them up and then we're going to move on. We're going to move on to any one of these. We still have one more to add. It's already in the box, but any one of these animes could be our personality for the next couple weeks. So I'm super excited. to go on another journey to end this one and to keep going. But
Same.
yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.